Hello, everyone. I've got a question for you. What if finding your voice was the key to unlocking your true power? Today on Seizing Your Greatness, we're diving into the journey of Renee Reisch. She's a passionate leadership and life coach dedicated to helping women in business reclaim their voices and live authentically. Through her powerful voice blueprint, she guides her clients from vulnerability to empowerment, breaking through fear, self-doubt, and the barriers that hold them back. With a coaching approach rooted in empathy and real-world strategies, Renee creates a space where women can step fully into their worth. I'm your host, Julianne Meyer, and I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. Renee, welcome to the show.
Hi, Julianne. Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's an honor to have you back on the new show. For those that are watching, Renee and I go back years. We're soul sisters, at least I call us that. And I am honored to have you here today because every conversation we have involving you is one that is remarkable and wonderful. And I love it, every moment of it. So I would love to start out with a really great question, and that is, how did this whole journey start for you? I know that you've got quite a story, but if we could get because we don't have a lot of time, a condensed version of, how you started helping women finding their voice.
Really it's my own journey. It's losing my voice in 2013 to a very painful illness, ending up in the ER twice, and being told that it might be permanent damage. I may never be able to speak again. So it was a virus that attacked my vocal cords while I was in corporate America, taking care of multi-million-dollar teams and departments and coaching and training and hiring and releasing and, everything in between and customers. It was like everything at once. And I never said no to anything or anybody, and the yes girl and the people pleaser, and never speaking up until I didn't have a voice to speak with.
And I don't love that happened to you, but I love that the universe showed you, and that instead of giving up on yourself, you not only didn't give up on yourself, but you're helping others who don't have to necessarily go to the depths of what you went through in order to find their own voice. Now, do you think that women in general tend to be muted because we're women, or what are your thoughts about that?
Great question. I think yes, but it's really our own stigma. So yes, and it's what we feel or society has shown us: be seen and not heard, go with the flow, don't speak up. It's all of those things. And, also it's your family. Maybe it's cultural, more than society. It could be your own culture that you grew up in, or your family, or whatever it is that has been shown to you throughout your life, and that you're not being seen or heard, that, just kind of play small in the background, that you're not really speaking up and saying what you really want to say, because you don't want to rock the boat, or you don't want to make waves. You just want to keep things at a status quo. And that's what I did. I did that. I very much excelled in my corporate role. Came number one district, region, company, country. But who was there for me? Yeah. I wasn't. I was the one in the mirror looking back at me, but not even putting myself on the back burner, saying I'll do it. I didn't even put myself on a back burner. Wow. I just wanted everything else and everybody else to be taken care of.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to stop you right there. For those that are watching, you just said something extremely powerful, that you weren't there for you and that you weren't even on the list of priorities. How many women out there have done that, felt that, been that? I don't know about you, but I 100%, oh my gosh, you just spoke my language. For some reason, even though you and I have spoken so many times before, this is the first time it hit me right here. Maybe it was the way you said it this time. I don't know, but dang, what has changed for you now that you have put yourself on that list of priorities?
It's saying no and not feeling guilty for saying no.
You and I were talking privately before about this idea that not every opportunity that's good is good for you. And I think it's the same idea. It's okay to say no. But I'd love for you to talk about an experience where even if maybe you had experienced a little bit of backlash for saying no, that it really ended up being something that was life changing, or just like, and it doesn't have to be a big life change. It could just even be like, oh my goodness, I showed up for me finally.
Yeah, it's that. It's that, and say, you know what? That felt good. I know people say no is a complete sentence. It really is. You have to say no, but because but no explanation is needed. No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not available. No, whatever the no is, you've got to be available for you, and you've
Mm-hmm.
got to make yourself a priority. And I'm not going to say that I sometimes don't feel, the guilty, like, oh, maybe. I'm like, no, Renee, stay true to yourself. And like, how would you coach somebody? You would say, stay true to yourself. So stay true to yourself. It's easy to tell others
Mm-hmm.
or guide others, not tell, you don't want to tell anybody, guide others or suggest to others what is best for them. When it comes to look at yourself in the mirror and saying, you did a great job in that, but what about for you? It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So be that best friend. Like, how would you treat your best friend? We're
Mm-hmm.
much harder on ourselves, way harder on ourselves. We are with others that we love.
Mm-hmm.
You would be, if you said to me, you would say, would you treat your best friend that way, or your mother, sister, father, but would you treat them that way? You're like,
Yeah.
no. Then why did you do that to yourself? Why did you speak those words, not necessarily out loud, but internally to yourself?
Well, our body is listening to
Oh,
everything that we're saying anyway. So, I think it's interesting that your body kind of um, put the stop so that it could change the trajectory of your life in order for you to really help others in a different way. That maybe I'm guessing here, but I'm guessing that this speaks more to your soul and your purpose of being here versus corporate America.
spot on. More, way more than corporate America. That was one of those you learn as you go. It was that. Definitely is more of a soul journey mission
Hmm.
than the moment of what I was doing. Now I did that for 25 years, so it was a lot of moments in that doing, but then it was being and becoming in that
Yeah.
journey of who I was really meant to be the whole time. But I took some detours that I didn't realize were detours. But those detours, I think, really it showed me, I can't speak for anybody else. I have my voice, but what I believe for me to be true is that they were detours to show me what was really important and what
Hmm.
really mattered and who really mattered in my life, and not so much the external validation,
Hmm.
but to gain the inner self-worth, but the internal validation that you give to yourself, that you are enough. Um, you don't have to do things to please others.
Yeah.
If you do something for somebody, it's because you really want to, not to gain that love or that like or whatever. If I do this, then they'll do. No, you're doing something because you really genuinely want to do it, or you genuinely want to help them, not
Hmm.
looking for anything, to receive back. So you're giving without that resistance of that. You're receiving without the expectation of knowing that, well, they're going to do that. It's not a quid pro quo, but it's because I want to do something.
I think this is a mutual friend of ours, Chris Salem. Something
He
that
says
he
that.
said,
He
yeah.
says it all the time. I was going to,
I
that's,
know, I know. I still remember. I interviewed him years ago, and I still
and
remember him saying, "What was it? Give without
give that
receiving."
resistance, receive without expectations.
Yes,
That's
or
Chris.
without resistance.
If you're
Yeah,
listening, Chris, yes, we both.
yeah. We both
He,
love it. We both love it, right?
that's why yes, he is a good friend of mine as well, and he says that, and
Yes.
that
Oh, I
stayed
love
with
that.
me.
Me
Give without
too.
resistance. With what a
Yeah,
surprise!
I
Give
know. Like
without
I said,
resistance.
soul sisters.
Yes, yes, he said, give without resistance and receive without, expectations, or maybe the otr way around. But that's you
Yeah,
really want to be
it's
doing
just
that.
it's changed my life, because is it really giving if you're expecting something in return?
No,
And also, the other thing too is, like, I've always thought about it like compliments. How many times as women especially are we like, "Oh no," or like we just I got it on sale, or we can't just say thank you.
Right, right, yeah. I love that. Oh, really? Yeah, exactly. You make an excuse for
An excuse.
or justify, not an excuse. You're
Uh-huh.
justifying what you did.
Whatever.
Yeah, just no, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, just, and like you said, no is a complete sentence, so is thank you.
you know what? Yeah, you're right. That's something I just need to say. Is thank to say thank you when somebody gives me a compliment. Even today, it's like I want to make sure they feel it too. Like I
Exactly.
want to, and it's something that's naturally comes off my tongue. Like when I just say thank you without saying something back, like say a nice compliment back, I
Mhm.
feel like I need to say something
I
more.
do too. I do too. But sometimes I genuinely do want to say something and somebody beats me to the punch. And that's a little bit different than
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah,
something just because they said so. It's like giving a present because somebody gave you one. Like, so it's not
yeah.
about that. It was a
No.
present to give.
And that's again, giving without resistance and receiving
Uh-huh.
without expectation. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So it
Exactly.
is. There's no ulterior motive or
No,
that you
there
have to do that.
isn't. So I would love to mention that you have created this remarkably huge group on Facebook of like-minded individuals, and you've been at this for quite some time. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about this because as a fellow member of this group, I'm here to say that if you are looking to be able to feel free to share and be seen and all of the things that we're talking about today, Renee, you have created a safe space for that. And I would love for you to talk a little bit more about this group that you have.
Aren't you sweet? Thank you, Julianne. It's a Finding Your Voice community. It's on Facebook. It is a private group.
Mhm.
And, it's interesting with Facebook. Once it's private, you can't make it public. And that's a good thing because if there's anything that was supposed to be private, it should stay private. So I created this, yeah, many years ago, and it's grown quite a bit. And we've got people all over the world in it. So it is a safe space. And I'm in there every day and I give opportunities to be seen and heard. And it's something that I'm really proud of because speaking about Chris Helm, he's in there too. He's in
Mhm.
that group as well as you, a good dear friend. And I'm grateful for the people that continue to come into it because it gives them a platform, it gives them a voice, and it's not a spammy kind of a Facebook that people will just put whatever they want up there. It's everything is vetted that is in there, and I'm grateful. Thank you for showing this. Yeah, it's my
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't actually intend to pull it up right this second, but here we are because
picking up. Yeah.
I love live. But
Yes.
we were talking about your Facebook group, but finding your voice is basically what we've been talking about this entire time so far. And this book is remarkable as well. And I would love to have you share a little bit more about where this came from, where people can find it, all the things.
Thank you. So this book, was something that I never people say set your intentions. I didn't have the bucket list. I'm going to write a book someday, or I'm going to be writing about this. It came to me from a longtime family friend, which I even wrote about in the book, who's now watching from heaven, along with my best friend and my dad. I've got some beautiful angels watching over my grandparents, all those lovely souls. And I wrote it because I was going to say, let me back up for 1 second. I wrote it really, it was a difficult thing that I finally did because I didn't want to write again, not taking it onto myself. Like I felt, who cares about what I've done, and not to be, in a way like nobody cares, but I really felt like, who cares about what I went through? I really felt that way. Why do I need to write a book about it? Who really cares about this? Who cares about it? And I said, it's my life, my journey, and nobody's really going to care about what I went through. And then I
Mhm.
said, you know what? Wait a minute, Renee. Just hold on. It's about you, but it's not. It's about the purpose you can serve
Mhm.
and reach more people with your voice through the power of your words in a book. So, not so much about you, but how you can serve a greater good with
Mhm.
your journey, your experience, your lived experience.
Mhm.
I have a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences in Psychology, and nothing is the degree of life that almost pales in comparison. I worked my butt off for that degree, but it almost pales in comparison to the degree that I've earned and the lessons I continue to learn in that lived experience of life, and where I was able to create the voice blueprint to serve others,
Mhm.
especially women, go through what they grow through and to speak their truth and become, the leader of their own life and be able to say no and release the self-doubt and embrace the self-worth.
Mm. You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking about this. The book is about you, but it wasn't for you. And I think that that's where people get kind of like confused. And I mean, I've been talking a lot about women, but you serve everyone. It's not just women. And and that this is for our male viewers because we do have male viewers, and
Love men.
yeah, exactly. And men are also silenced. I just wanted to touch on that as well because yeah, we're women and this is our experience and this is kind of like a global experience for women. However, men experience the same thing, whether it comes to their feelings, their thoughts, their emotions. There's just so many different things that men are silenced about. So your book
Well,
is for everyone.
yeah, the book is definitely for everybody. As a matter of fact, I want to share with you in the book, I have what's called a takeaway section. So after each chapter, there's lined pages. Let me see if
Oh,
you
I
have that.
love that. So you can
It
actually,
becomes a workbook. So there's questions where it's like takeaway.
yeah,
And then I need like 3 to 4 line pages for them to write their answers on here.
I love
So,
that because
and you can
now,
date it so they can
yeah.
see their journey as they evolve. It's an evergreen tool. You can
Mhm.
get for yourself, for a gift for people, for your spouse or loved one. I mean, it really is an evergreen tool. People say when you can
Mhm.
help everyone, you help no one. I have my main niche. Yeah, it's my main niche is women, but do I help men too? Yes. Well,
Mhm.
I've spoke with companies and corporations because I come from corporate. So I know about silencing your voice. I know
Mhm.
now about not being seen or heard or afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
Why are you afraid? Why aren't you speaking up? Don't just agree with everything because it seems like the right thing to do and people like you. Do you have a voice? Yes. Do you have a say or a belief in what? Maybe it's something that somebody could take and run with it and could create a cultural change in a company. Maybe it's something that you'll allow you to break free from your own chains. The
Mhm.
title of this book, everything, even the font of it, finding your voice is the journey. It's more flowy. Unlock,
Exactly.
unleash is the action. Unlock your chains, almost like so you can unleash your own greatness. And the
Mhm.
chains were my own. How
Yeah.
many women can say, you know, that you're like, yeah, I
Yep.
don't, I lock myself up. Well, I don't want to say anything. Let me just let it be and let it, you know. Now, I'm going to say this: choose your battles. You don't have
Mhm.
to have a voice in every little thing that you have to have the last word in. Is it worth it? Is it worth? Now, I'm not going to say also let it go. If it's something
Mhm.
you have a strong conviction on, or somebody's mistreating you, you don't let those things go. Or someone took advantage
Yeah.
of you in some way, or you said yes when you meant no. No,
Well,
that's another story. That's something different.
exactly. And I think that that's a very good distinction. You're not saying you need to be heard all the time above everyone else. What
Yeah.
you're saying is don't be afraid or be afraid and do it anyway.
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah. Yeah.
And, I mean, because everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
But there's I think that that is important to mention because we don't have to be heard. Like, I don't think anybody cares that I have a particular kind of water. This is the best water, I think so, but that doesn't mean that I need to like spout it from the rooftops either.
I got mine too. That's not the best to drink from, but I got this my
But
pH
yeah,
water.
yeah. So I think that that is a really good. And then I think too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it takes practice, doesn't it? It takes practice to really sort of build your confidence and build your voice. I mean, especially you literally had to do that. Like
Oh,
physically had to do that yourself.
I literally did. I had to go to a vocal coach and learn how to speak again.
I just
I
think
don't know if
that's
you knew that. Like I
important.
had to literally go to a
Yeah.
vocal coach, and it took close to a year for me to fully regain the use of my voice. It's almost like a muscle. Like if you
Yeah.
don't use it, it's going to atrophy. It's going to be like more squishy than solid. But the more when you don't use it, and mine was not being used for like a solid 4 months, and I couldn't even whisper. I had sores all over my vocal cords. So your vocal cords, it's almost like a rubber band. And when there's something on top of it, like sores all over them, they don't connect to make a vibration, well, energy, but they form together. They come together and they form a sound, and that's the vibration that they exude, and what tone and tonality and all of that, or how you're speaking, it all comes through your vocal cords. And I no longer have the ability for them to connect and make a noise. Talk about making connection, like plugging an outlet into a socket. There was no connection because of the sores that were sitting on top of them. So I couldn't swallow because they were very painful. And I was also unable to be with the public, not because I couldn't speak, but because there was an infection and I was contagious in 2013. So I was no longer talking about being seen and heard and felt, not seen, not heard, not felt. I was like taken out of society. And so there was not only no voice, but no more Renee to be out there.
Yeah.
I'm like very much out there, and I like to speak and connect with people. That's a big part of my life is connections. And I couldn't do any of it. It was in the
You had
silence.
your own personal COVID before COVID.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the heck that
Even
was.
worse because you could see everybody else is going about their life and their business, and you were stuck completely segregated by
I was
yourself.
oh, there
Hmm.
was yeah.
I
I
can't even
was
imagine.
isolated. I mean, imagine there was and there was there was many points where I would be crying because of the pain, and even waking up because I must have swallowed in my sleep or something, and my cheeks would be wet. But I didn't have a voice to hear the tears. Like when you're crying, you hear your voice crying. There was no voice of tears that could. Yeah, there was like
Oh my
nothing.
gosh, I never even thought about the psychological effect that would have.
It was. Let me tell you, the very first sore throat that I got after I got better, I was like, "Oh my god, it's back! Oh my god!" I freaked out. I got so scared. Yeah, they said it was called viral pharyngitis, your pharynx, the vocal cords.
Mm.
So this isn't staying in that. I'm out of that. What I'm here to talk about is finding your voice. What happened to me was part of the journey. What happened for me, not to me.
Yes.
And because I had to be silenced. I had to literally be silenced in a huge way, because my best friend, God bless her a million times over, she blessed me every day of my life. She's one of my angels, as I said, a beautiful angel watching over me. And she told me, slow down, Renee, slow down. Like, oh no, I have to do this. I have to. I was like running, running, and running. I had to do everything outside of me to take care of everybody outside of me. And she tried desperately. She yelled at me. She pleaded with me. And I did not listen. I'm sure God put her in my life. God, source, universe, whatever you believe. I believe God put her in my life for a reason. And it was many reasons. That was one of them. And I didn't even listen. And then he's like, okay, you know what? I did my best to help you. And you need to listen to your best friend in the entire world, who only had your back and had your best interest. And you didn't even listen. And so
Wow.
guess what? Right now, it's going to be a little painful. It's going to be a lot painful. And you're coming out, but you're going to be put back in a much stronger way, because you're going to be serving others with a stronger voice, more confidence, more courage, more conviction, faith, and trust and belief in yourself.
I love that. Well, we are basically out of time. So, where can people find your book? And then we're going to close up.
They can find my book on my website, reneereisch.com. It's also on Amazon, and you just look at my first and last name, it will pop up. It's called Finding Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains, and Unleash Your Greatness. That is not a Photoshop, by the way, guys. I was literally on Newport Beach. I took that dress out 2 days before I knew the pose I was going to do, because my best friend had that pose. I took a picture of her when we were in San Diego, and I said, I'm going to do that. And it's really like you're finding your voice. It's within.
It
It's
is.
we lose it in some way, shape, or form along our own journeys, and I'm here to help you get it back.
I love that, Renee. Thank you so much for being here today and blessing the audience with your knowledge and your story. So appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you for having me. It really has been an honor and a pleasure, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you who are watching, thanks for being here. We will be back again next Thursday. Until then, enjoy your week, everyone. Bye for now.